Good morning. How are you? Can you hear me okay? I'm just waiting till I'm going to start recording. Okay, good. We'll give everybody a few minutes to come in. Um, hey, from sunny Arizona, I'm jealous. Okay, great. Hey, everybody's coming in. Everybody's really on time. It's warming up in North Carolina. Well, actually, let me see. What's the temperature in Connecticut? 31. This is like a heat wave for us. Good. It has been so bitter cold. It has been ridiculous. In fact, finally my skin is getting back to normal again. My face was like flaky everywhere. It was horrible. Hey Kim. Hey Charlotte. Good. I've never had that before. I started slathering on cream twice as much as I usually use. And I think it did the trick. So, anyway, but everything's good here. No snow today, which is kind of nice. And I am leaving for Reno, Nevada tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. I have an Uber picking me up. My husband, if you had heard the last time I said, had a knee replacement, and it's his right knee, so he can't drive for another 4 or 5 weeks. So I'll be headed out there, and I've never been to Nevada, so this will be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Hey, from Toledo. Hi, Mona. Thanks for joining us. I'll give everybody a few minutes to come in. So I think we're all done with snow here for a while, which is hopefully good. Because I was in Dallas when they had that ice storm, so that was a little bit of an issue getting out from Tucson. Hello, I'll be out in Phoenix in the spring. I think it's the beginning of May that I'm going out there, so that'll be fine. For St. Louis, it's beautiful there. Huh, interesting. Yeah, Nevada has pretty mountains. Well, I've seen a lot of beautiful scenery from Reno, but just never happened to have done any events there. So I am really looking forward to seeing it. And I'll talk about where I'll be. Hi from Colorado Springs. Hey, thanks for joining, Chris. Donna, hi. Let's see, give everybody another minute. I'll be at 35th Avenue, so in Vac. I think it's the very beginning of May, but don't quote me on that. I haven't got my calendar in front of me. I just have a couple of places that are upcoming a little bit sooner that I'll mention. Hey Charlene from windy Wichita. I love Wichita. Wichita's a really nice city. I haven't been there for a long time, but I really like that spice shop or spice market. I forget what the name of it is. It was the coolest store. In fact, when I did an event for the Wichita ASG group. This is a bunch of years ago. And the woman who was in charge of, I think I gotta lower my chair a little bit, but I guess I'll leave it where it is in case it goes crazy. The woman who was in charge of the event had me ship my box to that spice store because I guess her brother owned it. And so it was out there for probably about a week or a few days. And by the time I got it to bring to the event, you could smell all the spices that had been absorbed in the cardboard of the box. It was really nice. Hey, Adele. Greetings from Atlanta. Thanks for joining. Oh, the Spice Merchant. Okay, thanks, Charlene. Yeah, great store. I've told anyone who's going to Wichita, I always tell them about that store. It's really nifty. So, West Palm Beach. Lurleen, thanks for joining. Oh, it's yeah, Blossom. Oh, I've never seen Lurleen in front of your name. Thanks. Okay. Okay, I think it's 12:04 my time, so I think we'll get started. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll do my little speech that I always do ahead of time. That I am a Bernina ambassador, but I am not employed by Bernina. So anything you hear me say about the machines or any of their products is because I love them, I believe in them, I think they're great, and but I do not receive any commissions or any kind of financial um, uh, benefit from any sales or anything else. However, if you are in the market for a machine or software, whether it's Bernina or Burnett, for anything with a value of $1,000 and up, you're entitled to one of the rebate coupons. So what you would do is shoot me an email before you make the purchase. That is important. It is not retroactive for previous purchases, but shoot me an email, send me your mailing address, and I will be happy to send this out to you. And this is a thank you from Bernina of America for supporting their products, for watching my videos, and just being wonderful people. But it is a thank you. It's good in the United States only, and it is $100 check. It takes, I think, anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to process. It depends on how busy they are. But it is a check for $100, so it's not like a gift certificate for more merchandise. But shoot me an email before you make the purchase, all right? And I'll be very happy to send you one. Also, let me just make some announcements. I just said before I was going to Reno, heading out there tomorrow at 4 a.m. I'm being picked up, and I will be at Going Batty in Reno for a 3-day event. It's February 12th, 13th, and 14th. Isn't that the greatest name for a store, Going Batty? I love that name. So I will be out there, and I don't know whether there are any seats available, but if you're in that area and you are thinking about attending and wondering, just give the store a call and they can tell you. Also, my next stop after that is at Authorized Vac and Sew in Fresno, California. I will be there on March 26th, 27th, and 28th, also for a 3-day event. So I'd love to see you if you're out in the California area, anywhere near Fresno. That would be fantastic. And I've got a couple of other things a little bit later down the road, but I'll announce those next month. Also, happy Valentine's Day a little bit ahead of time. That's on Saturday. And I just want to give you a little heads up hint. Keep an eye out for some sweethearts of deals. So that may include the vacuum. So keep an eye out for those. And that'll just be probably over the weekend, I believe. So just a little hint on that one. And also, I've had a bunch of people looking for the trim bin, which I talked about, that trim bin plus, which let me see if I can get my camera down here to show you. I think, let me see if this angle will work. Yeah, you can see the trim bin down here. This is the trim bin plus. Let me see if I can get my camera back out. I'll have to readjust it again. The trim bin plus, which is just great because it has this little removable compartment where you can throw in your clips and pins and things like that. Also, I have my, well, if I can get it out here, I have my tweezers in here too. But the advantage to this is that, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of times when I am trimming fabric off with the knife on the serger and I'm taking clips out and throwing them in there, sometimes they get caught under scraps of fabric, and then you turn over your regular trim bin, dump everything out, and there go your clips. And of course you don't realize it until you're looking at your supply and thinking, where did all the rest of them go? So that's the trim bin plus. But what I wanted to say about that, let me get my camera back to where I'm going to need it for the foot. I think that's okay. Okay, let me go back to me for a second. What I wanted to say, because I've had a bunch of people saying, I don't find it on your website. This is not my product. This is Barbara and Ron Goldcorn from Austin, Texas. And I think I should probably put it in the chat. But what her email address is it's all lowercase, Barbara at cuttingedgedesigns.com. Oh, excuse me. No. Scratch that. Barbara at cuttingedgedesigns.com. So you can contact her about the trim bin. She makes it not only for Bernina machines, but they also have one for Baby Lock, and I think a couple of other brands as well. I haven't looked at the information lately, but they're really great, and they come in different colors. I think there's a white one with gold print on it, and I have the red one. I think they come red, white, black. I think the white with the gold, and so you can take a look at that. But I do know they have them for Baby Lock as well, which I just think it's a fantastic little accessory, but I don't carry it. So go to Barbara at cuttingedgedesigns.com. Okay. All right, good. So anyway, I've had a lot of people asking questions about my last 2 tip clips about loops hanging off the edge. I did one with a straight edge of fabric, and then my latest one is one with a curve, like something like a neckline or an armhole or whatever, any kind of a curve on a project. And I think I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people asking about positioning the fabric and moving it around and all that. But these all came from suggestions people had for upcoming tip clips and things that they wanted to know more about. So if you have something that you want me to demonstrate and explain or anything else, shoot me an email and I'll definitely take a look at it and see if I can do that for you, because I think it's been very helpful for a lot of people. And thank you all for watching. So today, I wanted to do a little video on a pillow that I did, and I think I mentioned this when I posted it. This was done right before Christmas. I had the pillow inside of this is a yucky old pillow that I had from a million years ago, and I, believe it or not, I did have a day where I really wasn't doing a whole lot of things before Christmas. And I thought, you know what? I think I need to cover that pillow and make it look cute and put it, there's a little rocker in our dining room that it would look cute sitting on. So I came down and I just had some scraps of these 2 fabrics. And I thought they were so pretty, but there was really not enough to do any kind of a big project on. And I thought, well, I can just cut it up and use it like this. And I did a Flatlock insertion for the zipper. And that's a really easy one to do. It looks really cool. And but it is easy, and it would work really well on bags, a lot of different home dec items. Sometimes people, especially if they have a custom home dec business, are always looking for different ways to add detail and do fun things that add a little bit of visual interest to their projects, and things, something simple like a pillow or things like that. It's kind of nice to do a fun insertion with the zipper. You could do it with a cover stitch and do it upside down with the looper side face up on the right side of the fabric with decorative thread in the chain looper, which is absolutely stunning. or something like this. So I thought I'd show you today how to do this, because even though it looks complex, it is surprisingly easy to do. So it makes it a lot of fun. Before we get started, though, does anyone have any questions or anything they want to mention going on in their life that they need some help with? I'm just looking to see if I'm going to see anyone. If anyone's going to be out in the Reno area, let me know, because I'd love to see it. Or love to see you and hear from you. Anyway, so I think we are set to go. So what I did was I'm just going to do a little mock-up first, just on fabric. And as always, I always say, make a sample. So before I went on the air, I just tested my reverse Flatlock, and it looks good. And I just did right side and wrong side together just to see how it looked. So, and there's the lower looper side where you can just see the Serger cone thread. I have 12 weight thread in a top stitch needle. I am set up for stitch number 11, which is a wide reverse or wide flatlock stitch. I'm doing a reverse flatlock. It's a 2 thread. So I have Serger cone thread in my lower looper. The 12 weight decorative thread is in a top stitch needle, because this is an overlock technique, not cover stitch. You don't want to use a top stitch needle in cover stitch mode. The formation of the stitches won't look right. So just keep that in mind. Oh, hi Nancy, you're not late. You're fine. You're fine. We haven't really started the actual technique yet. So top stitch needle. I have hooked in my upper looper converter, and I will be very honest. When I went to stitch this off on my sample, I was like, oh, no stitches. What did I forget to do? I believe it or not, number one, I locked down my upper looper, which you do not want to do. Your upper looper has to be active. But I forgot to flip the little upper looper converter over and hook that into the eye of the upper looper. So my bad, but I knew right away what I had forgotten to do and did wrong. So keep that in mind. The reason, and I did go through this, I think, with the tip clip on the upper looper converter, which on other brands, I know on Baby Lock, they call it a subsidiary looper, or the subsidiary upper looper. It is the exact same thing. And somebody's calling. Let me just shut them off. It's the exact same thing, whether they call it the upper looper converter or subsidiary looper. They're both the exact same thing. They do the exact same thing. And what that upper looper converter is doing is catching the lower looper and bringing it over far enough so that the needle thread can grab it. And if it's not hooked in, or you have hooked it in and locked your upper looper down, guess what? No stitches. And that's what I did by accident. I think I was half asleep or something. But anyway, I was able to correct that. So now we have a very nice reverse flatlock ladder. So what I'm going to do is I just have a number 3 zipper, which is like a dress weight zipper, your basic zipper that you'd put in like a dress or skirt or top or whatever. And I've always talked about when you're installing a zipper on your serger, you always want to make sure that the length of your zipper is minimally 4 inches longer than the edge to which it's being attached. And why is that? Because we have 2 sets of feed dogs on the serger, and we have a long presser foot. And you don't want the presser foot bumping into the zipper pull or the stop at the bottom. So if your zipper is at least 4 inches longer, you'll be good to go. And there's no such thing as a zipper that's too long. In fact, I made I think it was just like a little zipper bag last year, and I had a zipper in my stash that was the perfect color, and I think it was about 30 inches long, and of course the bag was about maybe 12 inches wide. I used it because, as I said, no such thing as too long, but definitely too short. And the reason you don't want to get a jog in your stitching because the zipper or because the presser foot has bumped into the pull or the stop. So you don't want to get any crookedness in that stitching. So when the zipper is at least 4 inches longer, you're good. So anyway, let me just show you this pillow and show you what the zipper looks like up close on my table camera first. Okay, so, and I flat locked this project, all these pieces together, and this is just random. This is just an old yucky pillow that I had that I think turned out to be really pretty with this beautiful Christmas fabric. And I really like this fabric, but because there was so little of it, I thought, well, rather than toss it out, here's a good project to do with it. So here's the zipper. It opens and closes beautifully. Here's the yucky old fabric that was inside of it. I didn't bother taking it off. I just covered it over. And this is another thing too that's really good for things like little decorative pillows, throw pillows, and things like that. If you want to change it seasonally or for the holidays or a special occasion or something like that, you can just mix and match your fabric to be whatever suits the occasion or the season, and whip up one of these. There is nothing scientific about this. There was no pattern, no nothing. I just measured the pillow for the front. The pieces go vertically, and I just divided it in thirds. I find the thirds or fifths or any uneven number seems to work visually pretty well. And I just flat locked the pieces together. I did not weave any ribbons, but I'm going to show you how to do that today on the zipper to add even another layer of pizzazz to it. And then on the back, I just did the pieces crosswise and put the zipper in. I didn't bother putting a tassel or anything else on it because that was the back side of it. But it makes it super easy to change up everything. I'm just going to toss this over on the side for right now. So let me just go back to my close-up camera and show you how to set this up. And let me just make sure I don't see anything in here for no questions or anything else. Okay, good. All right, so let me just go to this camera. Alrighty, so here's my zipper, just my regular old zipper. I'm going to just do these two pieces of fabric, just like this. Now, for the reverse flat lock, I want my right sides together. So, actually the zipper is pretty long, so maybe it might show better if I do this with the face camera. Hang on a second. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the right side of the zipper against the right side of the fabric. And I like a couple of inches or a few inches hanging off either edge, just like that. Let me just show it to you. Now you can see it better. Just like that. And I can start stitching right on the zipper tape itself, and then go onto the fabric if I want to. It doesn't make any difference at all. But the right side of the zipper is against the right side of the fabric. So let's go over to the machine and take a look. Okay, let me lighten that up just a little bit. I think it looks a little bit dark. I think that's better. You see the red trim in here. Okay, also, you're probably tired of hearing me talk about the MTC dial, but I have the MTC dial up to +2 to widen out that stitch finger. And if you're looking right in back here, right right in here. It's a little dark, but I think you'll see it move if I bring this back down. You can see it moving in closer to the needle. But now I've got it up to +2 because I want to widen out and make those ladders of the reverse flatlock as wide as I possibly can. So, alrighty. Oh, and I just dropped my zipper. Hang on a second. Okay, good. And I also heard from some of you asking about how my husband's knee replacement did, which was, he did great. He had a good surgeon. He's doing well. He's graduated from home physical therapy to going to his office. And while I'm gone, he's got some home care people coming in to help him out with a few different things that he still can't quite manage on his own, and keep an eye on him just to make sure he's not getting into any trouble naturally. Okay, so, all right, let's raise the foot. I'm clearing the threads off of the stitch finger, and that's another important thing, and I should probably do a tip clip on that. When I start, especially with, and let me just go back to me for a second. When I like to start stitching with decorative threads, if they're thicker, because they are denser, I don't like a lot of buildup on the stitch finger when I'm starting. I like to just raise the presser foot and pull the thread chain to the back to clear those off. And that way you don't get a lot of buildup. And sometimes I know, especially if you're doing something with any density, like a table runner, placemat, anything where you might even have some batting in between. Sometimes when you get started, you get that big glob of thread at the beginning. And it's because you didn't clear those decorative threads off the stitch finger. So all you have to do is raise the presser foot, pull them off, clear them, and that'll give you a nice clean start, and you won't have a lot of buildup. And also it will help prevent getting a threadness too under the presser foot or under your fabric. So just raise the presser foot, pull those that chain back so that then you don't see any stitching on the stitch finger. So let's look at that. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, so now you can see, let me just point out real quick with this, the stitch finger is clear. There's no stitches on it. I pulled my thread chain out and we're good to go. So let me get this in, and yeah, I'm going the right way. And actually, I think I should probably, if I put on, you know what, I think I'm going to switch out to my piping foot. Hang on just a second. I should have thought of that before. Hang on just a minute and let me switch it. And speaking of my piping foot, this is a good example of why this Trim Bin Plus is a great idea, because I just had to get a new one because I think I accidentally tossed my original one. So because I probably stuck it in my original trim bin, tossed it out, and never thought about it. And because it's plastic and clear, it didn't make a clunk going into the wastebasket. So let me take off my C27. This is the C16L. This is a 5mm wide piping foot. Okay. And okay, so let me get right sides together with the zipper and the fabric. And what I'm doing is I am letting the teeth of the zipper ride right inside the little channel that typically, or one of the uses would be for piping. But and I've said this a million times in my specialty feet and attachments class and other things as well. Just because a presser foot has a specific name doesn't mean that's all it can do. The piping foot is fantastic for zipper insertions in overlock mode as well. So, all right, I'm gonna move this along. And see, now my zipper pull is in back of my foot. I don't have to worry about it causing a jog in the stitching line. So let me put my presser foot down. And I may end up skimming off just a smidge of either the fabric or the zipper tape, but that is not going to affect the integrity of the fabric or the zipper tape, and it will still be a very secure stitch. My stitch length, speaking of which, is on 2.5. That's variable, so whatever you want. And also, let me just show you that on my setup too. I have lowered my left needle tension to 1 so that it's very loose, and I have really cranked up the lower looper tension to 9. Stitch length 2.5. I have the needle up, and I actually have these settings saved in the little memory, which is the little heart icon on my screen. But I just wanted to show you that too before I get started. So, alrighty, let's go back to the other camera. Alrighty, I think we're good to go. Presser foot down. And another nice thing about using the piping foot is basically it's almost like a train going through a channel or a tunnel. It really guides the zipper. You really don't have to do a lot of work as long as you make sure that your edges are even with each other. That's really the only thing that you have to pay attention to, because the zipper teeth, it's like a choo-choo train going through the tunnel. It's not going to go anywhere because that channel is fixed. So let's give this a go, see how it works. And also the other nice thing is because it guides everything along, if you really did not want to trim off one single speck of your fabric, it's going to stay put. I'll go right to the end. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to pivot my zipper tape out of the way. Chain right off. Cut my threads. And let's go and take a look at this under the close-up. And I also got my thread chain caught in this. And why? Because I didn't hold on to it, which was really dumb. So let me see if I can get that out from the stitching. Let me just show you what happened so that it doesn't happen to you. Do you see this? I got it caught right in here. And I usually always say, hang on to your thread chain when you're starting with decorative threads, and I was so busy talking that I did not. So let me see if I can get it with my tweezers. I don't want to distort the stitching. This is what keeps me humble, by having things happen right in front of an audience like this. Okay, let me see if I can cut that without causing a problem. And let's open it up. Look at how pretty this is. Just like that. Pulling it open all the way and just pulling it nice and flat. try to pull with an equal amount on each, as you're going down with the ladders. So this looks really great. Now, if I wanted to flatten out that fabric, which I do, remember I did another tip clip with reverse flatlock, and I used a bamboo skewer, or just a wooden skewer, I guess. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I used that to flatten that little fold of fabric out. So let's take a look at that. Okay. I think I can put my tweezers away. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to start down here and just go right under the fold of fabric and kind of coax it over to flatten out, just like this. And the skewers are great because they're long, so that if you had a long length, you're probably going to be able to reach most of it. And then I'll just flip it around and do the other end as well. And just a little bit more down here. And this just keeps it nice and flat, and it makes it look that much nicer. There we go. So there is one side of that done. And you can see how super easy it is. Now, people might be thinking, well, yeah, what are you going to do with the rest of the zipper tape? Well, chances are, let me go back to me, chances are this would be a piece that would be caught in another seam going across. And what do I want to do before I stitch that? I want to make sure that my zipper is open so I don't chop off the zipper pull, which happens to everybody, or most people, at least once. I know it's happened to me. And the same thing at the other end where you chop that off too, and this end would be caught in a seam too, just as this is. You can see either end is caught in that side seam. So, okay, so we've got one done, and I wish I had kind of used a little bit more of a contrasty thread, but I think with the close-up camera you can see it. So now I'm going to do the other side, but you can see super, super easy to do. But you'll see when I add a contrasting ribbon, that will make those ladders pop. And now this one, again, because I'm on the opposite side of the zipper, I'm going to start at the bottom of the zipper pull on this end and see how this is. And I have the fabric on the bottom, okay? So that because the fabric that you have on the bottom when you're doing something like this is that's the one that you're going to have that fold on so that you can flatten it out. So if you have a specific look that you're going for and you don't want to put any ribbon or fibers or anything in, if you're using two different fabrics and you want a specific one to show, put that on the bottom when you're going to stitch. So my zipper pull is, or my zipper itself is going to be on the top. So let's go again. All right. Now I am going to clear my threads, and this time I'm going to hold on to my thread tail because I don't want to have to pick out my stitches from the ladders. I press her foot up and get my zipper right into that channel. This is such a great foot to get. And I know that most or many of the machine companies do have piping feet. And if they have a 5mm one, that works very well. In a pinch, I sometimes have used in fact, after I threw this one out and I had to put a zipper in, I think I used the small size, the 3mm one, and I could squeeze this size zipper in it, but nothing bigger than a number 3 zipper would ever fit in that 3mm piping foot. That's why I like the 5mm. Okie doke. So let's go on the second one. Oh, and you know what? Make sure your edges of your fabric are lined up with each other too. That is important so that you're not having to undo your stitches because you need the fabric realigned. Okay, here we go. Just pivot that zipper out of the way. The zipper pull, chain off. Okay, so here is my second side done. This is what it looks like before I've opened it up. This is my decorative thread, my needle thread side. Here is the lower looper side. Let's go to the close-up camera. Take a look. Okay, so this is what it looks like before it's opened up on this side. So let's give this a pull. There you have that. And let's get my trusty little skewer in here to flatten that fabric out. It just rolls over, and that's just normal. There's nothing you're doing wrong or anything else. Now, speaking of that, depending on the maximum width that your serger will create ladders, the 9mm on my machine is the widest one on the market. I think the next widest one is 7.5mm. So you may not be able to totally flatten out your fabric, but no worries. If you want to put in something like a ribbon or fibers on top of it, just give it a nice press ahead of time, and that will flatten it out very nicely for you. It's not anything you have to be concerned or worried about at all. So it'll be nice and flat and not bulky. We love our irons when we're sewing. Okay. All right. So here it is. Really, really pretty. It's kind of hard to see. I should have probably used a different color. But the reason I stuck with this is because I wanted to do some ribbon on this insertion too. And let's just double check. The number one thing on the hit parade is make sure you can open your zipper. Open and close it without getting hung up in the fabric or the threads along the edge. That, we all know how annoying that is when it gets caught. So, and that opens and closes perfectly. So that's fine. So that is the zipper insertion. And as I said, if you think about it, sometimes people say, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be that secure with just 2 threads. Well, think about when you put in a zipper on your sewing machine. You only have the needle thread and the bobbin thread. And unless something's too tight or too small, whether it's a garment or a slip cover or a cover for a pillow or whatever, unless it's too small, the stitches aren't going to pop on that. And this is the same thing. Very secure. No muss or fuss on that. But just to zhuzh it up a little bit, I brought some red ribbon over. I thought I'll use red since it is Valentine's week. And I don't know about you. I will be out in Reno for Valentine's Day, so I'll have to have Valentine's celebration when I get home. but I'm just going to cut a piece. This is 1/4 inch ribbon that will go through those 9mm ladders very easily and sit flat. You could also do 2/8 inch ribbons. You could even squeeze in a 3/8 inch ribbon. But on the 3/8, I think if I was going to use that extra 1/8 of an inch wide ribbon, I would use a satin ribbon that's a little bit thinner than a grosgrain ribbon. Grosgrain is beautiful and it's great, and there are lots of beautiful decorative ones out there, but it doesn't slide through even the 9mm ladders all that easily. So I tend to go toward the satin. So let me just show you how I'm going to do that, and you can see how pretty this is. And I've got to keep an eye on my screen just to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So your weaving pattern is random. You can go over 2, under 2, over 3, under 2, over 3, under 3, whatever you want to do. And I just have this little bodkin. I don't use the double-eyed needles when I have 1/4 inch ribbon because I want a slightly wider eye for the width of the ribbon. And this is something I've had for a million years. It almost looks like a little spear. But what's nice about it, it has this upward curve, so it doesn't hang up and get caught in the ladders. So let's start. I think I'll go over and under 3. And let me just cut this little thread tail off and get rid of that. And when I'm doing this, I usually like to start under the first ladders. Now, depending on what I'm doing, you don't necessarily have to start under the same number because, again, this will probably get caught in a seam, so you won't see it. But that's up to you. But that makes it easy to keep it secure, and it will stay put when you're stitching the other fabric to it. And look how pretty this is for a zipper insertion. It's just so easy to do that it makes it fun. It's not like a big headache. And every once in a while I'll go under too many, which I think this one is, I went under 4 instead of 3. Yeah. Let me just pull this along. Flatten it out as you go. Another nice thing about satin is it slides easily too. It's showing up kind of orange on the screen, but it really is a true red. But you could use any color you want. But I just thought this would be pretty as a nice contrast. This is like watching one of those Zen things where you are just sitting and it's like a slow hand process. And if it gets twisted, just give it, I kind of will pull it from either end. And give yourself some extra, whoopsie, I can tell I went over. No, I don't think I did. Give yourself some extra length so that if you do have to straighten out the ribbon, you're not having to redo the beginning edges again. But I just think it's one more decorative technique to add to your arsenal. I'm missing that ribbon thread. Here we go. And a lot of decorative techniques, as you know, they look complex, but to actually do them, no. Do they take some practice? They probably do, just to get all your settings right, get your colors right. I changed colors on this a few different times, and I twisted up my ribbon here a little bit. So let me get that straightened out and flip it. There I go. Okay, so I'm almost done with one side. And you can pick your fabric up if it makes it easier. And again, now I'm not going over under 3, but these end ones are going to get caught in the seam. So does it make any difference? Absolutely not. So there you have one side. And I just think that is a beautiful way to do a zipper. I think it's really, really pretty. And as you can see, doesn't take a lot of time. The weaving takes longer than anything, honestly. Oh, Blossom, you said that's so impressive. Yeah, it is. Is it, oh, Kim, you're asking, is it sturdy enough for a handbag zip? Absolutely, it is. Now, if you want to, as I told you before, my stitch length was on 2.5. If you feel like you want your stitches a little bit closer together, you can shorten up that stitch definitely and have it feel even sturdier to you. But again, probably if it's going on the top of a handbag or the front of it, it's really not a stressed seam unless you've got it bulging with stuff, which I hope you don't. But I just think, how pretty is that? And I'm going to do the other side too, just to give you the same idea. I hope you're not feeling like you're watching paint dry or something. But you can see also, do you see how much extra length I gave myself on the ribbon? Now maybe I wouldn't give myself quite that much length to start with. Where did I get that needle? I knew darn well when I was taking that out this morning. I said, I know somebody's going to ask me where I got it. I have no idea because I've had it for a million years. But I think if you look in your local stores, like your sewing machine dealer, even if you have a yarn shop or something like that, they probably have something like this. And you've heard me say before, please support your local stores and business people because they need us for them to stay in business. But if all else fails and you don't have any resources close by you, look on Amazon and look under bodkins or something like that for this. But it's great because it has this little curve, which makes it super great for getting under those under the ladders. So let me just cut one more piece because I really want you to see the whole shebang done. And I like to cut my ribbon on that bias, on that 45-degree angle, just so it doesn't fray. Put it through the eye. And let's do the other side. Okay. So let's start down here. Again, I'm going to go under those first ones just to keep them. The reason I like to stay under them is because when you're putting that on the next piece of fabric that's going crosswise, if you don't and it's flapping in the breeze loose, it may flip over on you and you'll have to rip out the seam and catch it. So it's just a little bit of insurance to make sure it stays flat. Okay, and I think I just caught that thread a little bit, but I can go back and pull that flat afterwards. Believe it or not, I actually like it when stuff like that happens. I always say to people in classes in person, I'm not pointing them out as somebody who made a mistake or anything else, but it's a learning opportunity for everybody for how to avoid doing something wrong and really getting some benefit. And it's just human nature that we all learn best and things stick best when it's from a mistake that we learn our lesson. So I'll go back and I can fix that loose little thread from the back side, but I'm not going to bother on camera right now. because the rest of it will be really nice. And do the ladders have to be perfectly aligned with each other? Only if you really, really want them to be, but personally, I don't think it really matters. And sometimes this is a perfect example that if you looked at it and you said, oh, I wish all those ladders lined up, you would notice it the day you did it and for an hour. But once you've got your project all done, guess what? You're never even going to think about it again, because the finished result is just very, very pretty and it's going to look fine. So don't get yourself in a twit about whether the ladders align with each other from side to side, unless you really want to. Okay. All right, so here's the second side done. And I think that this looks really nice for a zipper insertion. I didn't have a light blue. That probably would have been my first choice for the color. But I do like the red against it because it really shows off those ladders. And as I said, the weaving pattern is entirely up to you. There it is. How pretty is that? I think it's just great. And you can see how quick and easy it was. And with the right foot, it makes it so easy to do. Now, if you were doing something, and just to give you a little help, if you're doing something that had any kind of thicker batting or even foam, when you go to do the second side of your zipper, you may need to open it to get it under the channel on the piping foot. That's important to know. But what I like to do is keep the zipper closed till I have everything aligned correctly. Put some clips along the zipper tape or pins that you're going to pull out long before they get near the knife. But that way you make sure that nothing's twisted. And I have done that by accident with twisting a zipper. But if you're just doing this, doesn't have anything, I didn't even interface the back of this. But you could interface it, certainly. And going back to the question about, Kim, that you said about a handbag, if you have interfacing, which you probably would have on your bag, or like a lightweight batting, that also will help secure everything and keep it nice and firm. And I don't think you're going to have to worry about anything coming undone or the strength of those the zipper insertion. Oh, Charlotte says an upholstery supply place would have a needle like that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Or if you have your grandmother's sewing box, you might want to look in there too. But I just wanted to show you that. I thought it was a fun technique to show you today, and the red will remind you of Valentine's Day weekend. So we're heading up almost to 1 o'clock. Are there any other questions or anything else? Again, if you have a suggestion or a technique that you would love me to do on a tip clip or even a live Serger Savvy, send it along. I'm always looking for ideas. I want to know what you want to know. So that is something I'm always happy to do. And sometimes when I'm racking my brain for what would be fun to show, if somebody has something that they're really interested in learning about, I guarantee you a whole bunch of other people might want it too. Kim says she uses fleece. Yeah, definitely. You'll be okay with that. But if you find that doing the second side is a little bit bulky with that, it probably will be all right with fleece. And chances are you're not using a super puffy one on a tote bag or a handbag. I think you'll be okay. But if you find that it is thick and bulky on that second side, just get everything clipped or pinned in place with the zipper closed so that you don't flip it and twist it. Again, I've done it. And then you'll be good to go on that. And I keep it when you're doing that single side with the zipper teeth, keep the zipper teeth kind of hugging the right edge of the channel on the piping foot. So you should be good. But again, the test on all of this is, does my zipper open and close easily without getting hung up on fabric or anything else? So I hope you enjoyed it. And Kim, you're saying oh, leather work too. That's a great suggestion too. They might have that going through. I don't know. Well, I don't know that much about leather work, but I'm not sure, because you can kind of see. Well, let me put it on this camera. You can kind of see it's almost like a little bit wider on that tip. But if you have large holes on leather work, definitely that would go in. But yeah, check around those places. But as I say, always support your local sewing stores and yarn shops and all of that stuff. And then if that's your last resort, is there anything you can't buy on Amazon? Definitely check it out. All right, I think we're good to go. We're right at 1 o'clock on Eastern time. So I will see you all in March. Hopefully by then some of the snow will have melted and we won't be getting any. March can be a beast of a month. As far as weather goes in Connecticut. But if any of you are in the Reno, Nevada area, I will be there for an event at Going Batty Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I would love to see you there. So have a great month. Send in your questions and comments. Chris says she bought a collection of specialty needles, which includes this. I have a feeling my sister's a big tag sale. I'll just put this on the end. Big tag sailor, and she finds these little vintage things like grocery stores and gas stations used to hand out those cardboard little folders that would have all kinds of needles in. So who knows? Maybe that came in one of those. I don't know. But if I ever figure out where it came from, I will let you know. But it's great. But there are other things as well that will fit a 1/4 inch one. And just to show you, when I do the 1/8 inch ribbons, I use my double-eyed needle. Let me just show you real quick and then we'll sign off. There's my double-eyed needle, and I know a lot of sewing stores carry this. So as long as it has a relatively rounded tip on it, that's the important thing, so it doesn't snag the threads. But anyway, thanks for joining me today. I can't believe I actually finished up on time. And again, if you're thinking about a machine, before you buy it, shoot me an email with your address. I'll send you an ambassador coupon. Keep an eye out on Instagram, Facebook, and my website for sweetheart deals possibly coming up. So I will see you all again, probably before next month, maybe in a new tip clip. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Love you all. Happy sewing and serging, and happy Valentine's